Zoe here, welcome back to my channel. Today I am working with my Felicity Jane kit. I think this one's called Jane. I think so. I know my new kit should be here soon. But yes, I think this is Jane. And I wanted to make a sort of grid pattern today. I felt these photos really worked well all together. We went to the zoo. You know, we go to the zoo quite a lot, and I was walking behind my husband and my daughter, and I just sort of had this moment of, oh my gosh, she is so tall, and she looked so, not grown up, but so much older, and they looked really good together. So I snapped a few of these photos anyway, and then I decided that I didn't want to choose between them, and that they would work really well if I actually used all three of them. So I resized them to, I think it's approximately 3x4, and I did that in my Project Life app on my phone. And then I printed them all off using my selfie, and I just used the spare 3x4 gap for another photo, which I'll use in a different layout. So I'm backing my white cardstock onto this lovely sort of dark grey. It's kind of black, but it's like a muted black. And as you can see, I've just stitched that really roughly off camera, and I'm going to figure out where I want these to sit. Now I know I'm going to have them sit centrally, and then have a little cluster and my title in that spare 3x4 slot. So I know I'm going to want a piece of patterned paper to sort of match that bit, and I found this scrap in my stash box, in my no, not stash box, in my kit box. I keep all my kits in plastic containers, and it was in there. I decided to use this rather garish gold foil doily, and if you saw my unboxing, you know I do not love this doily. It's just, I don't know if it's the shade of the gold or what, but it's so garish. So I am actually going to use a little bit of white acrylic paint just to tone that down, because it's too much. It's way too much, and yeah. I don't know. I love gold usually. You can see this Today title word sticker that I found. It's from another Felicity Jane kit. It's from the Cut Apart. I think it will have been the month before this one. And the frames I'm just trying out now came from my stash. So I'm just playing around with those, trying to decide if I want to use a second one, and I don't. And I'm going into my tag box. If you saw my room tour, you know I keep embellishments in these photo what do you call them, caddies, I guess. I keep my embellishments in those. This is my tag box, and I do actually pick out Felicity Jane tags, funnily enough, that I haven't used from previous kits. So now I'm going to go through the embellishments that I have left from this kit and just try and figure out what embellishments I'd like to use. And I decided that I quite like these rose cut aparts, so I'm going to use a couple of those. And I think I'm going to swap out that one for a slightly bigger one, which I do there. I'm really enjoying how this has come together. Actually, it's working really quite nicely. And then I also have this egg holder carton thingy. It's like a pottery egg holder, china egg holder, something like that. I use it to keep little bits and bobs of embellishments that I don't know where else to put. It just sits on my desk. So I'm just pulling a few little bits out of there. And again, they are actually mostly Felicity Jane bits and bobs. I've got a paper clip and some teeny tiny tags and some rubber hearts that I'm going to use. So now I think I'm going to go ahead and start committing to these clusters. Now usually I would stick my photo down first, but what I'm actually going to do is create the clusters first before I commit to the placement of the photos, just in case I want to change it up. And you're going to see me use tags and not put twine in them. Oh, I know, I never do that, but there's a first for everything. And honestly, I didn't want the added texture of more twine. More twine? There is no twine. I didn't want the added texture. This is a very flat layout. I'm keeping it, I'm not propping anything up, I'm not adding foam or anything like that. I wanted it to be very flat to the page, so I felt like adding in like twine would make it a little less flat, I guess. And I know I'm usually all about the texture, but not today. I wasn't feeling it, and well, I don't know why. I really don't. I made this layout on Easter Sunday actually, and I think I did a sneak over on Instagram on Easter Sunday, because I thought that was going to go up that night, but then I made another layout after, so that's the video that went up on Sunday, and this one will be going up Tuesday. So yeah, I don't know why I wasn't feeling it. Anyway, I'm using Liquitex heavy body white acrylic paint, and I'm just using a craft palette knife just to smear it quite thin. It's very thin layer across the gold, because I still want some of the shine of the gold to shine through. I don't want to cover it up completely, but equally I just want to tone it down. It just feels too garish. So I'm just oh, you see that there, the stick that was just popped there with the dandelion. My son just got back from the park with my husband, and he brought me back a twig and a dandelion from the park. So he decided to pop those into shot for me, as you do. So I'm just going to go ahead and commit to my photo layers. And as I was saying about the doily, I didn't want to tone down the gold. I wanted the gold to be there. I just didn't want that sort of really bright in your face gold. Just more of a subtle hint of it. So as I say, I'm committing to my placements here and just going ahead and layering up my clusters where I think they need to go, and just making sure that the tag is going in the right place. I'm going to add my frame, and again I'm just making sure the placement of everything is where I want it, because it's such a tight cluster of photos and embellishments. I need the placement to be perfect, otherwise it's going to look just a little bit disjointed. And actually, as I'm looking at it now, I can see that I should have placed everything just a hair more to the left. And I couldn't see it when I was facing it, obviously, head on, but I can see it now. I'm watching it overhead, which is a teensy bit annoying, I have to admit. But it's done, and it won't bug me once it's in the album, so what you gonna do? So I'm just gonna place my rubber stickers where I want them to go. They're not stickers, Zoe. They're not. They're just rubber shapes. You cannot call everything stickers, and I apparently do. And then I'm going to move on to the star confetti sequins that came in the kit. I know I'm going to place a few of those around in a sort of diagonal across my grid. I love that really bold darkness of them, and I'm just using my Cosmic Shimmer acrylic glue to glue those down, just lifting them slightly and popping a dot of glue underneath. They stick really well with this stuff, and I'm not too concerned about a little bit of glue showing through the hole in the center, because it does dry clear. So I mean, certainly if it's something that would bother you, you can be more precise when adding sequins, but it really doesn't bother me, and I never notice that kind of thing. So I'm going to print off a little bit of journaling using a typewriter font on my computer and just cut it into strips. Where am I going? What am I doing? Oh no, I'm debating using the Tim Holtz stickers, and then I realised I don't want to do that. So I've printed them off just onto normal copy paper and then run them through my Xyron sticker maker, so that it makes them all sticky the whole way along. And I'm just going to lay them down at the bottom of that gold heart. I think the journaling is just about how much I love the bond that my husband and my daughter have, and I really do. They have a truly amazing bond, one that I find myself oddly jealous of sometimes. Amari is far more forgiving of a father than she is of me. I have to be far more perfect in her eyes. Daddy can do no wrong. which I suppose is how it should be with daddies and daughters. Anyway, I'm using the tiny sort of starburst stamp from the stamp set and some Tim Holtz Distress ink in, I think Hickory Smoke is what it's called. It's like a really soft grey, and just adding some stamping again on that diagonal. And I'm using my Chamel roller date stamp to add in the dates. I think that this photo was taken on the 17th of April. So I've just popped up my rubber dot there just to pop my stamp in, and I've put the date in twice just because I wanted to repeat the stamping in another area. Just I feel like it draws the eye better if it's in two places rather than feeling unbalanced. And just adding a few drops of gold Heidi Swapp colour shine, and that is it. That's this layout entirely complete. It was a really quick layout, and it was a really fun one to get back into the swing of things. I've not been in my craft room for almost 2 weeks. I was really sick, and I was really quite miserable because of the sickness for a while, and yeah, it was a really, really quick, really perfect one to get back into the swing of things. So let me know what you think down below, and leave me a thumbs up if you like this video. I really appreciate the thumbs up. It really helps to let YouTubers know how to find you, and it shows other people who have similar tastes how they can find you too. So yes, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!